So last week's call, we had talked about, the power of, when you connect with somebody, especially as a realtor, engaging with them, but really being more interested and less interesting and really kind of digging deep and creating that relationship with them before you commit to being able to be, their lender of choice. Bruce, I know you had several meetings and support that you were going to do. Do you have any results or any kind of feedback from how those meetings went?
I had a good week. I had meetings every day since we met last Friday.
Wow.
With a variety of agents or brokers.
Okay. And can you highlight some of the meetings for us? I mean, anything that we've been talking about on the class gaining any traction? Did you feel more comfortable? What has been kind of the feedback or the results that you've seen so far?
Yes, I felt more comfortable. I think it gave me at least a platform to start with. But like in any situation, I'd walk in the door with a plan in my mind as to how I thought I wanted it to go, and salespeople and business people, being strong-minded as they are, didn't often go that way.
Right.
I tried to get them. Tried to get them to talk and as much as I could, and we get into it a little ways, and also they start to turn the table and start asking a lot of questions too. So about from the business side of it. So at the end of the day, every one of those, I walked away with a good feeling and a commitment to meet again. That was that was my goal going in. It was at least at a minimum to get a second opportunity to meet.
Great. Any success story? I mean, obviously, meeting with them again in a follow-up appointment is awesome. But any success story that you felt like it was really monumental for you?
Other than the gentleman I met with yesterday, who immediately invited me into his dot loop circle. So I am now a preferred vendor within his dot loop program.
Okay.
And so that
I don't know what dot loop is.
Dot loop, I didn't know what it was either. Evidently, it's being used by almost all realtors now. They utilize it for their e-signature, their marketing, their communications between their clients and themselves. Evidently, if you're a realtor today, you use dot loop. So I've got to research more about it.
Got it.
At the end of the day, when he says a communication, my name is always going to be attached to it.
Great. That's fantastic.
As a possible referral.
Awesome. How about you, Kat? Do you have, over the last week, any success stories?
Yeah, I did. I had quite a few.
Oh, awesome. Do share.
Yeah. I think that the one that stands out, and I'm still like giggling over it today, is a broker that I didn't know that she was going to even have time to sit with me. I can't remember what day it was. I think it was Tuesday. But she and I hit it off like so well, and it was just asking her about herself, about her children, and she obviously really likes to talk about herself, because it turned out it was supposed to be a coffee at 9:15, and when we looked down at our phones, it was 11:45.
Wow.
I could not believe it. Yeah, and she started off, and I never asked her for her business. It was just getting to know her, asking her for what things she likes about different loan officers that she's used in the past, and she would tell me about how she always uses this one guy, that he's been her guy for like 8 years, and then kind of around the end, she's like, you know what, Catherine? She's like, you and I are so similar. She's like, I love helping people that are in the same situation that I'm in. Just because we have 2 small children, I think we really connected on that. She's like, I'm definitely going to send you some leads. She's like, I know you're going to do great. You're going to do wonderful.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty neat.
So the strategy that we talked about in the past on how you communicate with the agents and what you say, do you feel like that provided you some value? Do you feel like that gave you a platform to use to feel like you weren't so salesy and it was more relationship based?
Exactly. And she did ask me, I can't remember what exactly it was. She asked something about an appraisal, and I didn't have the answer for her. So I just told her, I said, well, you know what? Let me touch base with my team when we get out of here, and then I'll call you right back and let you know the answer to that. And she was completely fine with it.
It's amazing what happens when they feel like they can trust you. You don't have to be spot on, because the reality is you're not there to be an encyclopedia of information. You're there to create a human relationship. So that's an awesome success story, Kat. I am so proud of you. That's fantastic. Imagine if every week you had 1 or 2 meetings that were just like that until you had 15 people that all felt the same way. What do you think your business model would look like at that point?
Pretty awesome.
It would be pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
But you could probably have some interactions with agents who didn't give you that same kind of vibe back. I mean, I'm sure you've got conversations that you've had with agents that really just didn't go as well as that one, right?
Well, I mean, they've all actually gone pretty well. I think probably because I'm starting, like you suggested, with people that I know, or my friends and family have referred me to go talk to them. So I kind of had a little bit of a foot in the door with everybody that I've talked to so far. The one yesterday, I just knew that he was a realtor because we drop our kids off at the same daycare. And so I reached out to him just on like, hey, our kids are in the same class together. You know, when can we meet up? And it was a little awkward, I guess because we had never really spoken. We've just like said hi and bye in the hallways before. But same thing, I just kept asking him questions about himself, and he started asking me about fees and things. I was like, yeah, well, I'll let you know what that is, because I really don't deal with that end of it. You know, I'm just, meeting new people and getting, everything started. And he was fine with that.
Awesome. Awesome. So what you guys are starting to experience is the difference between being a traditional loan officer versus a relational-based loan officer. And the truth is that it's so much easier to communicate with people when you don't show up with an agenda. You know, it's one thing to go, I really want to learn whether or not I and you have find out if we're compatible or not. And the people that you speak to don't feel as sold. They don't feel as you're trying just to suck a deal out of them. And what they're more interested in finding out is how you are different. I mean, don't fool yourselves. Every time you sit down with a realtor, they're asking the one question that you should be asking about that agent. Why should I use you? What is it about you that makes you different? And what is it about you that I should trust? And whenever you can have that kind of a agenda when you show up, or that kind of a plan, and it isn't about getting a loan, you become more relationship oriented, and that's how people start to see you. Like that one agent that you talked to that said, you and I are, like 2 peas in a pod. That's not because of how many loans you've done or how many transactions you've been able to navigate or how many underwriting battles you've won. It has all to do with she trusts you. She likes you because you shared a commonality. You shared what we call rapport with each other. And those are the relationships that you will build on for the years to come, and you won't be so transaction oriented, because there's a phrase out there that I've heard from when I very first day I got in the business, that realtors treat you as good as your last transaction. I disagree with that. I completely and totally disagree with that. I believe that most agents do, but if you can build a relationship with your agents, you're not as good as your last transaction. You're as good as how you make them feel. Like we talked about last time, every time somebody refers you, every time you get a chance to create a referable moment and push that referral back to the realtor or whomever that source is, it makes them feel good. Please don't keep me a secret. And don't forget, I know how good it feels when somebody comes back and says thank you to me. That's a very powerful psychological approach that people get addicted to. And it's a powerful thing. And if you've ever had that happen to you, or if you've ever had that experience, it's a pretty cool feeling. So what I want to kind of evolve into, guys, is you guys have a platform to be able to go out there and have conversations with agents now. You have a platform to feel comfortable sitting down for an hour or two with a realtor and dialoguing with them and feel like you're bringing value. Are we clear on that? Are you guys comfortable with that, or should we talk a little bit more about different strategies?
I'm good.
I think I'm good with it.
You're good with it? Okay. So what I'm going to start showing you guys is the evolution of how we start tracking our business. Have you guys ever, or have I ever showed you guys, and if you guys are on your computer, your screen should pop up now. Do you guys know what a lead tracker is? Have I ever showed this to you guys?
No.
Okay. Okay. So what we're going to start getting into is, now that you have the ability to go out there and start communicating with referral partners, I want you guys to start tracking your business. And tracking your business is very, very, very vital as it relates to the success of your practice. And it comes from the mindset of this. If you were going to build a restaurant on a busy street corner and you had a choice between making it a drive-in or a drive-through or a diner or a combination of both, don't you feel like it's appropriate to do some analytics and find out what people are looking for before you build it?
Yes.
So if you knew that your market required more of a drive-through, why would you build a bigger diner, right? You'd build a bigger drive-through and a smaller diner. And the same holds true if it was reversed. The reality is a lead tracker basically tells you what your business is good at and what it isn't good at. So in a lot of ways, this document is a very clear and concise process of making sure you're staying on track every single day. So let's kind of use Kat as an example in this case. Kat, on average, if you were to look at your goals, what would you say is an acceptable amount of loans that you want to close every month?
I would say probably 4 to 6. Do I have to say specific?
Okay, so please understand that what I'm about to tell you is not a guess, it's a fact. It's a fact because if you guys look at my computer screen, I've been tracking my leads, it's been longer, but this document goes back to 4 of 2005, okay? So I have enough statistics between this and the other LOs that I've coached that these numbers that I'm about to tell you are 100% accurate. And you may not believe me, but I promise you that if you do this, you'll come to the same conclusion. Out of every lead that you get, you will end up closing about 30 to 40% of the leads that you bring in every month. So, Kat, if you wanted to close 4 loans a month, how many leads do you need to generate on a month-to-month basis? About 12. Okay? That is not a guarantee every month, but after a 6-month window, your average, based on how many applications you take, how many people you meet, you will see an average of about 12 leads equals about 4 closings a month.
Okay.
Okay? So if we were to swim upstream a little bit and you start talking to enough people and you start getting referrals based on the interactions you're having with your referral partners, you're going to define a lead as this. And this is key because this is what goes onto this sheet. This is the only definition of a lead that I want you guys to look at. A lead is somebody that you've talked to about what you do for a living and you've been able to capture their name, their phone number, an email address, and what kind of transaction it could be. So if you're at a store and you get into a dialogue with somebody and they said, oh, I'm looking to buy a house, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a loan officer, and you talk to them about yourself, about your why, and you're able to get their name and their phone number and an email address and you know what they're after, that's a lead, okay?
Yeah.
If you're in a store and you talk to somebody and they say, I'm looking to buy a house, and you don't get their name or their phone number or an email address, that's not a lead, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are we clear on the definition?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Every lead that you get needs to go on this form, and I'll send you guys a copy of this. Can you guys all see this form clearly, or should I blow it up?
Yep.
Yeah, you guys can? Okay. So I know it was I blew it up by accident. So what this form does is it gives you a running total of what your activities produce. So let's put this in another way. Both of you guys do not get paid to close loans. Let me be specific about this. You do not get paid to close loans. Success Mortgage Partners, Lending Path, Lake Street Mortgage, they get paid to close loans. You guys get paid to generate leads. Can you guys say that for me, please?
Say it.
Can you say that for me, please?
Yeah, we get paid to generate leads.
Bruce?
Lake State Mortgage gets paid to close them.
Yep, you got it. So your role of a loan officer is really twofold. One, it's to procure leads. on a month-to-month basis. The second part of it, which is the smaller part, is to ensure that your files close on time. That's it. You don't get paid to close the loans, so your mindset has to be, once you have a file that you turn in, you have to let the idea of what that file is go. Now, I'm not saying you alienate the relationship or you don't communicate with your clients. What I'm saying is, on a business level, not a customer service level, but on a business level, you have to realize that every file that you turn in, that is not how you get paid. You will get paid because of your ability to generate the lead, to convert the lead, and then to turn the lead in, but you do not get paid to close the loan. You get paid when the loan closes, but you don't get paid to close the loan. And that's a key piece of this. So your daily activities, your primary function every single day is to fill this lead tracker up based on the number of leads that you want to generate in order to hit your closed loan volume. So my goal when I was closing loans was to close 10 loans a month. And based on that analysis, I needed to generate 30 leads a month. So there are some months that I close more, there are some months that I close less. The truth in the matter is that my goal every single day was to fill this lead tracker up as quickly as humanly possible. So that meant that my daily activities were primarily focused on what do I have to do to fill this lead tracker up. I use this lead tracker more than I use anything else in my business. It was opened up on my desktop before anything else was opened. It set the tone for what I was doing. So when you guys go back and look at what you did or didn't close this past month, I'm going to tell you that it has everything to do with you didn't talk to enough people. It's not rocket science. You just didn't talk to enough people. Sales 101, people. It's just sales 101. Your number one focus is to go out there and talk to enough people so that you generate 12, in Kat's case, 12 leads. And when you really think about 12 leads in a 30-day period, that's pretty minimal. Don't you think? I mean, that's like one person every day and a half.
Yeah, it sounds minimal now.
It is very minimal, and I'm going to break it down for you even farther. If you scroll, as I scroll down, and I'm going to send you guys a blank copy of this so you have this so you can start using it. You see all these letters right here? CCR, PCR, PC, PF, Realtor, so on and so forth. These all represent pillars of your business. My business was predicated on 4 main pillars. The CCR stands for current client referrals. The PCR meant past client referral. The difference is I have a client that I closed a year ago. I got a referral from them. Case in point, this week alone, I haven't done loan level activities in over 3 years. This week alone, I've gotten 5 referrals from past clients, either direct past client coming back to me or a past client referring me of somebody that they care about. Pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
When I think about it, I know that my business was being run really, really well because I'm still getting referrals, which kind of is a testament to how many times a day I spoke to people and told them what it is that my business was predicated on. I didn't ever miss a chance to tell people how important my relationships were and that my business was solely built on referrals, and I count on you to refer me. To the point where I've got clients 5-6 years ago that are referring me their nieces and nephews or their sons and daughters. That's amazing to me. To me, I'm even shocked. The point is that each one of these acronyms represents a category: past client, personal friend, realtor, ad, business relationship, affiliated relationship, and builder. When you take those 12 leads and you break it down going, okay, I've got 4 pillars that I can choose to get my business from. I can choose to go into my personal friends, I can choose to talk to my realtors, and then I can choose to talk to some of my past clients or some of my business relationships. And when you think about, I've got 4 different categories to choose business from, where do I think I'm going to get most of my business from at this point? Well, let's just break it down. You've got a personal friend. I'm sure you all know somebody in your personal circle who knows somebody that's buying a house. Kat, I've been sending you those text messages. Those are great strategies that are very soft as it relates to your language around having people kind of think about you in these ways. The truth is that when you really break it down, you could probably get 5 or 6 referrals from your social circle and your friends and your family in one given month if you talk to enough of them, right?
Yes.
You're a very social and outgoing person. That's the part of you that I think we capitalize on the most, because you have no fear. You can sit down and hold a conversation at length with just about anybody, especially if you get them to start talking about themselves, because you appear to be more interested and less interesting, which is a great combination. If you think that you're going to get, that you can get 6 referrals from your social circle and you want 12, well, that means you have to get 6 more from 3 other categories. You know some financial planners. Let's say you get 2 referrals from your financial planners. That means you got to get 4 more. Then you go out there and you talk to your realtors and you need to ask 4 agents for a lead. When you break it down in that category or in that categorization, isn't it clear where you need to spend your time?
Yep.
Doesn't it peel away the layers and the ambiguity and the angst and the hesitancy of where am I going to get my 12 leads? We're basically going to narrow it down to where you're going to have 4 pillars in your business. You're going to have 4 categories in which you're going to spend time originating your, in this case, 12 leads. So Kat, your homework assignment is to decide, based on where your life is, where you think you can generate 12 leads in the next 25 days. I want you to spend the next 20 days, I want you to spend the next 20 days looking at where your business can get its leads from. You have great conversational skills, you have great enthusiasm, and you don't have any fear. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be able to pick up the phone and talk to, well, let's just use this. Let's say the rule of 30 plays true. In order to get 4 leads, or in order to get 4 closings, you got to generate 12 leads. My belief is that in order to get 12 leads, you've probably got to talk to 28 people. So my thought is if you broke that down to, I got to talk to a person a day, or I got to talk to 2 people a day from a business week standpoint. So you've got essentially 10, 11, 12, 13. You got 14, 15 days left in the month, and you've got to generate, let's say, 30 leads. So that means you got to talk to you got to get 12 leads. That means you got to talk to 2 people a day who you are specifically asking for an opportunity to be introduced to somebody who could use some mortgage advice. Let me say that one more time. Your job for the next 15 calendar business days is to talk to 2 people a day who you can ask for an introduction to somebody who could use some great and sound mortgage advice. You're not looking for a mortgage. You're looking to sit down and talk to 30 people who could use some mortgage advice. If you ask that of 30 people, there's no question that you'll get at least 12 leads. Whether it's coming from your financial planners, whether it's coming from your realtors, your personal friends. Is that realistic to think that that's doable?
Yes.
Does it seem overwhelming when you peel it away like this?
No, it's a lot more manageable, I think.
You think? Bruce, what do you think, buddy?
Oh, I think it clarifies that it offers an opportunity for me anyway to get out of my own way, get out of my own head, because I can complicate most anything if I choose to.
Well, here's the beauty of why the lead tracker worked for me. Guys, I'm not the best loan officer in the world. I'm not. I'm not even that smart when it comes to guidelines and regulations. I don't know 99% of the stuff that most LOs do. What I was really good at was making sure that my activities every single day were centered around my strengths. If you guys go back and look at the list. I got 3 current client referrals, 5 past client referrals, and 9 past client business. So out of there, I got 17 leads and let's call it 18 with a personal friend. I get 18 leads, and I only got 4 from realtors. 4 from realtors. Where do you think I would spend most of my time if you looked at the snapshot for 1 month? Where do you think I spent most of my time? Because the effort that I did in April of 2005, probably, it was probably March. I mean, all the activity that I was doing in March created this kind of activity. Where do you think I spent most of my time when I came into the office?
Clients and past clients.
Who do you think I was talking to the most?
Past clients.
Right. Why would I want to talk to realtors if I knew that most of my leads in a given month are coming from my past clients and my current clients? See, the power in this lead tracker is that it takes away all the guesswork. It takes away all the smoke and mirrors. If you're not happy with your paychecks, I can guarantee you that 30 days ago, you weren't happy with your lead tracker. If you're not happy with your business, I can guarantee you 60 days ago, you weren't using your lead tracker. The truth in this whole process is that it is so simple, but you've got to get accustomed to filling this out every single time you get a referral. It needs to be a game. It needs to be a challenge that you place upon yourself that says, if I need to close 4 to 5 loans a month, I need 12 to 15 leads, which means that if that 30% rule holds true, I've got to be talking to at least 20 to 30 people a month, asking them, who do you know, who can you introduce me to, who could use some mortgage advice? See, the whole foundation of what we've talked about up to this point is getting you comfortable with speaking to agents and to people and believing and knowing that you bring value to their life. Because you're not a salesperson, you're a consultant. You're a servant mindset individual. You're not here based on ego, you're here based on service. You're not here based on attention, you're here based on support. Understanding your why, understanding what your value is, understanding the psychology of the people you're talking to allows you the confidence to go have meaningful conversations and then turn them into a chance to ask for help. Because they see you. They've heard and have now listened to what you're saying because they know who you are. Kat's example of that one conversation that she had is an example of somebody who has now moved beyond hearing what Kat had to say, but truly listening to what Kat had to say. Not because she's a loan officer that's been in the business 20 years. On the contrary, what do you think would have happened if Kat walked into that meeting and said, I've only been doing this for 3 months? Or I don't know what your rates and fees. I mean, if she got into all the commoditization of the business, that conversation would have went totally differently. Would you agree, Kat?
Yes, definitely.
The lead tracker is done to show you the results of how effective your conversations are with your clients. If you're not asking for help, if you're not asking for the introductions, if you're not asking to meet enough people, your lead tracker will show you where you're weakest at. And tracking the source of where the business comes from is vital because that'll tell me what your sweet spot is. There's no point in me teaching you how to talk to past clients if you're really good at talking to realtors. There's no point in me teaching you how to generate current client referrals if you have more business coming in from your realtor network than you know what to do with. Can you guys see where this is valuable?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, you triggered a lot of thoughts right now.
The reality is that if you're not tracking your business, you're always going to be an amateur. Baseball players, basketball players, football players, everybody who is a quote-unquote professional tracks their business. I don't care if your business is putting a golf ball or throwing a football or making sales calls. Everybody who treats their business as a professional knows what their strengths and weaknesses are and doesn't even guess. They know it like the back of their hand. Kat and Bruce, you don't know what you're good at. You don't even know who you're good with because you have no idea what your business looks like. This is where our conversations are going to evolve into. We can continue to talk about the psychology of the business, which I'm more than happy to deal with, but you guys are both capable now to go out and speak to realtors and to speak to your friends and your family without coming across as being salesy and being able to ask them for introductions. The goal now is not about what to say or even how to say it. The goal now is to how many leads can you guys put on your lead tracker every month. So here's what I'm going to need from you guys every week. You're going to submit to me your lead tracker the day before our meetings on Friday. So now you have a 2-week window to fill up as many as you can, and I'll email this to you guys, a blank one. Your goal is to fill it out. And I will tell you that every week that you don't accomplish what your target is, like you can break it down. If you want 12 leads and we've got 3 weeks left in the month, you need to generate 4 leads a month, or 4 leads a week. Period. 4 leads. Whatever you do this week, well, let's use this as an example. By the end of next week, the 24th, sorry, by the end of the next week, the 17th, if each of you have generated 1 or 2 leads, I can guarantee you that your August isn't going to be the way you want it to look. You have to get into the mindset that whatever you do this week, take it out 45 days, and that's what your paycheck is going to look like. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So what we're going to do is start looking at our businesses not only on a micro day-to-day level, but the impact of what you accomplish every day has to be recognized as the result in 45 to 60 days. So if you want to make sure that you're hitting your stride and you want to do it quicker, you've got to start talking to more people. Do either of you feel like at this point you don't have the confidence or the capability of going out there and having and holding conversations with people who could definitely introduce you to other to consumers looking to buy or looking for mortgage advice?
Well, I think I've got the confidence to do that now.
Okay. Kat?
Yes, I do.
You do? Okay. Do you guys feel like if you ask for help that you're coming from a place of weakness?
No, I think asking for help, humanizes me and allows them to, connect. We all have that need for support and help. So I think it humanizes us.
Right. So the evolution of this call moving forward, statistics and analytics. We're always going to talk about things that are more relationship based, but I'm going to hold you guys accountable. You know, I can give you guys 1,000 different excuses because I've heard them all as to why your leads aren't where they need to be. I hear you. Life shows up. But if your goal is 4 to 6 closings a month, Kat, you've got to be generating 30 to 35 talk-tos a month, which should translate into 12 to 15 leads, which should turn into 4 to 6 closings a month. Bruce, you have the same homework assignment. You've got to decide how many loans you want to close, and it isn't going to be closing them in July. Whatever you do the next 3 weeks are going to be your closings for August.
Right.
And it may not be 30% the first month. It may be lower. But the goal is once you hit your stride, once you understand this, you will see a 30 to 40% return on your efforts. Guaranteed. There is no other question about it. I've got enough statistics and enough data. And if you're not hitting your volume of loans closed, I'm going to tell you that we swim upstream and start looking at your lead tracker 45 to 50 days ago.
Yep.
And I guarantee you they are in 100% connection.
Yeah, this is the structure I'm looking for. Bottom line is my pipeline is sporadic. I'll get a deal into the pipeline, and that sits there by itself. So hopefully this will cause me to start stacking things into the pipeline and build a stream. So this is what I'm looking for.
All right, so what happens from this, once we understand and we master the lead tracker, then once we have enough data to kind of give us the analytics of where your business is coming from, then we will start working on individual strategies on how to generate the most amount of business from the pillars of referral sources that are strongest for you. Like I wouldn't sit down and listen to anybody tell me a presentation on how to get more realtor business. That's not what my business was. My business was tell me how I could better evolve my past client relationships to yield more activity. You'll notice that in the emails that I send to you guys or the text messages that I've been sending, they're not about how you sit down with a realtor and talk to them. They're emails or text messages that you can send out to people that are relationship. They can be applied to both realtors and to past clients and your friends and family. Kat, do you get that? I mean,
Yes.
do those text messages resonate at all for you?
Yeah, they're the ones that I'm going to start using once I have some past clients.
Right,
Sure.
right. But these are great little techniques that are not over the top. They're just daily activities and daily rituals that over time you can use them once or twice a month. It's not rocket science, and it's free, and it's built on, again, our first several weeks of this class has been built on understanding the psychology of how this all works. And I hope you guys can appreciate the foundation that we laid over the first couple weeks and how it translates into the next stage of this class. Because that's important, and I need you guys to tell me if it's not registering, because we'll spend more time at it. Because I don't want your lead tracker to consume you and for you to miss out on what the true realities are, which is I think you both have all the capabilities in the world to go out there and talk to any realtor and ask them for help. So are we good?
Yeah, I just have a question. I have a question on the pillars there at the bottom. What does the AD and the BUS and the AR stand for?
AD means that if you run an ad, like if you partnered up with somebody for Zillow or something, that's an ad. Business would be if you have business relationships, like you have a home inspector, an insurance agent, or somebody that refers you.
Okay.
Affiliated relationship would be if you have something that's a little bit more concrete. My affiliated relationships were my CPAs and my financial planners. Business to me was insurance agents and other people that I've met in the community that would refer me people.
I see. Okay.
Builder, and I barely got any of those. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
I don't want you to focus on anything other than choose 2 to 4 of these pillars, and that's going to be the lane that you're going to go after. And then once you choose your lane, set some goals. How many leads do you want to get out of your pillar? You don't need any more than 2 to 4 pillars to get your leads from. And whatever your pillars are, that's what you're going to stick with. Make sense?
Yes.
All right, Kat, based on what you told me, you should or you will have 8 leads by the 24th.
Right.
You will have 8 names on this sheet. So let me, before we get any farther, so I basically put a symbol next to them, and I want to explain what each of these symbols are for me, okay? If you go down to the bottom, the target means that you've taken an application, and it's a pre-approval, meaning they're pre-approved home buyers that haven't bought a house, taken the application and gotten their documents and disclosed. Does that make sense?
Yes.
The application taken with a home means that if it's a refinance, because they already got a home, or they're under contract. The dead means it's a dead lead. You've talked to them, they're not interested, they've said no, or their credit's so bad that you're not helping them at all. And the meeting set is somebody that you've started to talk to, and you've got a tentative appointment set in the next couple weeks or in the next couple days. So it's an active lead per se. So you'll notice that I never really took an application with a home, because most of the people that I met with at the time that I meet with them, they became clients. I never met with people that I didn't close. So to dumb it down even farther, I just use the target, the dartboard, as the definition of loans that I was going to close. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So as you go through the process of filling out the lead tracker, you need to list on here because, again, in about 5 to 6 months, this data is going to be awesome to go back and look at to help us figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys, as soon as I'm done processing the replay, I will send out an email with this along with a copy of the blank lead tracker. And the neat part is, as long as you fill it out based on what's listed here, as long as you put the right code in here, it translates over on the right-hand side, and it produces the result that you're looking for here.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
You guys have any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Kat, does it feel
No,
like
lots to think about, lots to work on now.
Well, I mean, but whatever you have to work on should be very, very micro. I mean, you should know now what you have to do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, what do you want to close? What's your target volume for closings? How many units?
5.
5. So that means that you need to generate 15 leads, and that means that you've got to be talking to, 30 or more people a month, asking them for introductions.
Yep.
Now, again, this is based on a statistic. This may not be the case for you both right out of the gates. You may need to talk to more people. You may need to talk to less people. Maybe you hit a gold mine and you found a realtor that gave you 5 people right out of the gates. Okay. I'm giving you guys rules of averages.
Yep.
So that means by the 24th, Bruce, you need to have collected at least, what, 10? You need to have 10. You need to have at least 10 leads by next Friday.
Yep.
This is a goal that you guys are setting for yourself. I don't care if you come to the next 2 Fridays now meeting with 3 leads. It doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you're finding out what's working and what isn't. Please understand that in order to get you to the goal that you have, it's going to take a little bit more accountability, and it's going to take a little bit more dedication for you guys to fill out this sheet. Please make it a priority for you. It will change your life. I will introduce you to 5 other LOs that I've been coaching now for the last year and a half, and each and every one of them tracks their business and can't think of how they would do it any differently. There was a gentleman, and let me share you guys a quick little story before I let you go. So we have an LO that came to me, it was March of 2015. He had some struggles with a knee that was causing him problems. He had to have surgery and he was laid up. And he actually came to me and said, I want to draw. I want to get a draw on being paid because I don't have any loans in the pipeline. I said, okay, well, obviously I got to talk to management and find out if that's even going to, or ownership, and find out if that's going to be plausible. So I did, and ownership agreed that that would be okay for a short period of time, but the caveat was that he had to coach with me individually for at least 90 to 120 days. And that after 90 to 120 days, if during that period of time he was unable to generate enough business to offset his draw, we were going to have to part ways because he just wasn't going to be able to survive, and he wanted to look at getting into the banking world and something to get a salary. From April of last year and tracking his business, he's going to do north of over 1.6 million in loan volume this month alone. He even created his own spreadsheet that makes this lead tracker looks like a kindergarten's work. I'm not, and at some point I'll show it to you guys, but maybe I'll even get him on the call. The reality for this is really simple. It will change your life as it relates to your business because it will teach you what to look at and then what to focus on every single day. You'll know at the end of the day today, if you don't get a lead, it's going to weigh on you. You're now going to mentally start recognizing that if you don't get 2 leads a day, you're not doing what you should be doing, which will then start you down the path of what should I be doing every day? What's getting in my way? What's stopping me from doing this? And then you looking at your days going, if I'm not getting my 2 leads, then I'm either feeling guilty about it or I'm not capable about it. But at the end of that whole rationalization in your head, we can talk about how to overcome whatever the challenges are. That's where my best talent is with you guys, is how to work through those challenges to get you to that point. And with that, that is my soapbox for today, guys. Thanks for listening to me. I mean, you guys have been on the class now for a couple weeks. Are you guys, is this helping? I mean, I keep asking you guys this only because I want to make sure that the stuff I'm talking about is relevant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what you've done for me is, like I say, you described it, you've peeled back some layers for me. I was, as I said earlier, I get caught in my own head and get in my own way, and just by simplifying it and giving it some direction, it's allowing me to peel back those layers and move the ball forward. Whether it's a small step or a big step at this stage of the game, it doesn't matter. It's forward as opposed to being stagnant.
Agreed. For me, it was always a simple thing. I'm better today than I was yesterday. I don't care what your goals and results are. I mean, I care about you as individuals and as people, but I don't care what happens between now and the 24th. I only care on whether or not you're going to be hitting your goals. And if your goal is to do 4 to 6 loans a month or 5 loans a month, and that's the goal that you've set for yourself, my responsibility is to care enough about those goals. But what you do every single day, I can't manage that part of your business. Now the lead tracker does. And it's your own accountability piece so that we can spend more time on broader issues. All right, guys. I've occupied enough of your time. Again, thank you for spending an hour with me every week. I really feel honored, and I really am appreciative that you guys are taking this in. It means the world to me that you guys listen and care about what I have to say. I want your success at a high level for you. I want to see you guys thrive and succeed. I want you guys to know that this company cares about you at the highest level. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in this position. So I'm honored to be a small part of your success. I'm here to help. If there's anything you need from me, please don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doug.
Have a great week. Enjoy your